I will move fast, I will move slow. Take me away, I have to
Hello YouTube and welcome back. This is Forge Tip 7, something that a lot of you have been waiting on for a very long time, and now it's here. So we're going to go ahead and start things off with the Assault Gametype. And here I'm just setting up the custom spawns for Assault Gametype. These are going to be the exact same spawns that we used for the Slayer Gametype. So if you haven't watched video 6, go ahead and go back and watch it now. I highly recommend it before you attempt to set up any game types other than Slayer. So go back and watch that video because we're using custom spawns on these, on all the game types we're doing here. So just a quick overview of this. Make sure your spawns are set to blue/red team. We're using the 3 initial spawns and the team-based respawn point style as we did in Slayer in video 6. And then go to your advanced tab. Game type specific should always be true on these spawns that we set up here. And then your label is the game type that you are currently editing. In this case, it's Assault. Now, if you're editing CTF, it's going to be CTF. If you're editing KOTH, it's going to be KOTH. So in order to get Assault to work, you need 2 things. The first thing that you need is a bomb. So go to your Objectives menu and pick a hill marker. I'll explain why you will use a hill marker in the Advanced Forge Tip series, but just trust me, it makes things a lot easier for you. It removes some glitch capability. Now, you don't actually have to mess with the size of the area of effect circle there. It's not going to affect anything if you do. I'm just a little obsessive-compulsive about it. So once you have your hill marker, find a good place to put your bomb. You have 2 options. You can set your bomb right in front of your player's spawns, or you can set your bomb further away to make them kind of work for it. And one interesting thing I've seen on 1 or 2 maps is they set their bomb in the enemy base, which was pretty cool. You actually had to go get the bomb, and the bomb was defended by the enemy, and it's pretty neat concept. So anyways, once you've found a place for your bomb, make sure that your hill marker is sitting evenly on the ground, or even just a little bit above the ground would help a lot more than on it. And that's going to prevent the ball from glitching through the floor or something like that, which can happen, but it's very rare. Make sure you set your bomb to whatever team it is. If it's blue team's bomb, set it to blue team. Game type specific should be true, and the label is AS_bomb. Make sure you have those. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I don't know what to tell you, but this is red team's bomb, so we're going to set it to team is going to be red, and then we're going to go to the advanced tab directly after that. Game type specific is true, label is AS_bomb. Make sure you set those, otherwise it won't work. Now the second thing we need is the capture plates. The capture plates are a little bit confusing in Assault. In order to go ahead and in order to get them, go ahead and go to your Objectives menu and select Capture Plate. Spawn one of those, and then it's a little bit confusing. Place it how you want to. I like to have mine pretty almost flush with the ground. It just makes gameplay smoother. But when you're setting the team, keep in mind that you're in the blue team's base, and this is where the red team wants to take their bomb. So this, in all technicality, this is the red team's goal. This is where the red team wants to go. So set it to red team. Go to the advanced tab, specific equals true, and the label is AS_goal. Now make sure, if you're in the blue base, set it to the red team's goal. If you're in the red base, as in right here, then set it to the blue team's goal. It's a little bit confusing. Just remember, the goal is where that team wants to take it. So, since this is a symmetric map, go ahead and do to one side what you did to the other. Make sure you do that. And again, that is Advanced tab, Game type specific equals true, and then the label, game type label, is Assault or AS_goal. And that's going to set your map up for Assault, generally speaking. Now this is CTF. CTF is similar to Assault, especially in the fact that we're going to be using the exact same style spawn system, only instead of game type label being Assault, it's going to be CTF this time. Other than that, there literally is no difference. You're going to make sure your game type specific is set to true for all four of your, or for all 8 of your starting spawns. You're going to make sure to set the teams and make sure your label is game type label is CTF, and that's just going to help us in our later maps, because in some of the maps we have to change up the spawn system. So keep that in mind. Throughout most of this video, though, we will be using this spawn system, so make sure you have it down. Again, if you don't, go watch the Forge Tips video 6 and pay careful attention to the spawning part, because that's really what's important. This is just me setting up the red team spawns. Also, if you're having trouble reading the text, you can try watching it a little bit bigger. I think it's 720p. I'm not real sure how high definition this is, but try watching it a little bigger. Now, in order to get CTF to work, the required object is simply the flags. You're going to have a red flag and a blue flag, and also there's more and more flags, but we're going to go over that in the advanced spawn system. This is just, or the advanced Forge Tips. This is just to kind of, get it set. The area of effect circle that's around the flag stand determines how far you have to be from the flag stand to capture a flag. So a lot of game types use a very small circle. I like mine to be just a little bit bigger. Gives a little bit of leeway to the players and really helps out, in my opinion. Now, other people might not like that. It's really your own personal preference, because there's a pretty equal amount of players that like it and don't like it. It's not even that big of an issue, honestly. Once you make it that close to the flag, you're pretty much just going to score. So, we're in the red team's base, so we set it to the red team's flag. You need to have it specific equals true, and game type label is CTF underscore flag underscore return. Make sure you have those set. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch some of the older videos. And make sure you set up blue team's flag. Again, set it to blue team, advanced tab, game specific is true, game type label is CTF underscore flag underscore return. Alright, now we're going to set up KOTH, King of the Hill. We're going to use the same exact spawn system we've been using, so use that. And to get it to work, you need to spawn a hill marker. And you need to get it the size you want it, the area of effect. You need to get it the way you want it. This is your hill. Whatever you see there, that's how big the hill is and what shape it is. Specific is true, and the label is KOTH underscore hill. You're going to need to put several of these on your map. KOTH requires at least 6 of these. So make sure you have at least 6. I like to put, 7, 8, somewhere in that number. And that just gives it a lot more variety. So make sure you pay attention to where you're putting them. Don't put them too out in the open, but yeah. So this is Stockpile. Stockpile is a little easy to set up. Spawn a hill marker. Uses the same spawn system we've been using. And you're going to want to spawn a hill marker and go to advanced, specific is true, and the label STP underscore goal. And then make sure you set it to the appropriate team. This is where they're going to be dropping off their flags. So if it's in the red team's base, set it to red team. I know I'm going a little fast, but I'm going to cover all of these in detail. This video here is pretty much just to help you get your map set up quickly. Now again, a hill marker. Set it to the team, appropriate team, and then STP underscore goal is the label. We also need flags out on the map. You have to have a minimum of 6 flags, I believe, and there's 4 active every round. The label is STP underscore flag, and you're going to be using flag stands. The circle around them, the area of effect, really doesn't matter. You don't have to change that at all. If it bothers you, make it smaller. If it doesn't, whatever, leave it alone. But these are going to be what you set out there in order for the flags to become active. Do not set a team on these at all, and set them to game type specific equals true, and game type label equals STP underscore flag. And that's going to set these up the way you want them. Make sure you put these in appropriate locations. You don't want them to be easily accessed, but at the same time, you don't want them to be impossible to get to either. You want to have a good balance of, hey, I better get in and get out and grab that flag really fast because I'm being shot at. You want to have that kind of going on, but at the same time, you don't want it, oh, I can't even get that flag because they're sitting there watching the flag with a rocket launcher. Yeah, you don't want that. Next up is Oddball. It's going to be using the same spawn system we've been using, just like all the others so far. Again, go watch Forge Tips 6 if you haven't. Otherwise, this video is probably not going to make sense to you. In order to get Oddball to work, you have to have the ball. And to spawn the ball, we're going to be using a capture plate. And you can use a hill marker. Capture plate, hill marker both will work fine. I don't like to use the flag stand, but you can use either one. So spawn a capture plate. Leave the team as neutral. Game type specific is true, and the label is oddball_ball. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to do, and you have to have a minimum of 3 on your map, but I like to include 6. The reason being, there can be up to 3 oddballs active at one time. Forgot what game type it actually does that, but it's a possibility. So you need to have at least 3 of these oddballs on your map, and I like to put 6. I know I'm going a little fast here, but if you miss something, that's the beauty of a video. You can always rewind. Remember, no team, oddball_ball, game type specific equals true. And that keeps it... The reason you want game type specific equals true is it keeps it from cluttering up your map in other game types. You have a very nice clean surface to work with whenever you go to another game type, instead of having all these random stuff, this random capture plates and hill markers and stuff that you really don't even know why they're there. You just know that you put them there. And just trust me, just do it and it will make your life so much simpler. I didn't do it for the longest time and it sucked. Alright, this is Headhunter. Headhunter is going to be using the same spawn system that we've been using. I'm not going to switch it up until we hit Infection. So make sure you set up your spawns correctly. Game type label equals Headhunter. In order for this to work, you have to have drop points. We're going to be using hill markers, and you're going to set this up very similar to KOTH. Hill markers are going to be true. Label is HH_drop point. Or game type specific is true, excuse me. Hill markers are going to be neutral. Do not set a team to these. I've never tried it, but I don't know what would happen if you did. So just don't. Also, something I didn't cover in the KOTH part, if you put a circle on a square platform, it's kind of annoying. So if you're using a square platform, try to use a square hill or a square drop point, whatever game type you're setting up. As I show you here, you can easily change that just by switching the shape to a box. You have the option of a circle or a box. So if you're using if you're on a square platform, go ahead and set it to a box and set it, similar in size to that square platform. Otherwise, it's really obsessive compulsive Twitch. Yeah. Make sure you do that, because if you don't, bad things will happen to you. Alright, I don't know why this part of the video is so long. I had to cut a lot of this video out to make it shorter, because it was just, at first when I pieced all the game type setups together, it was about almost an hour long. So I condensed it down to a 15-minute video. And as before, this is a symmetric map, so make sure that you do to one side whatever you do to the others. With symmetric maps, it's like a mathematical equation. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So make sure you do that. Something's wrong here. No, never mind. And that's pretty much going to get your map set up for Headhunter. You have to have a minimum of 6 drop points, I believe. Yeah, you have to have a minimum of 6 drop points. I usually put 8 or 10, and it goes in evens because usually 2 drop points are active at the same time, but you can have up to 6 active at the same time. Don't know of any game type that's ever going to do that, because that would just suck. But yeah. Anywho, here we go with territories. Use the same spawn system, and in order to get it to work, use a... Holy crap, it's going fast. Use a hill marker, and the label is TERR_object. Set the hill marker to that label, and it'll work. Here is Infection, and my dazzle started spazzing out here. I shouldn't have this problem ever again, but red in Infection, red spawns are your defenders, and blue spawns are your zombies. So make sure you place your defenders in an appropriate place, where you're going to have a different spawn system than we've been using in order to have a successful game. Otherwise, it's just going to be a really sucky and boring game. And if you place the zombies and defenders too close, usually the zombies are just going to completely overwhelm the defenders in no time flat. simply because the zombies are faster, and they have actually the faster weapon. The shotgun beats the sword in a lot of occasions, but honestly, zombies will own you. Blue is zombies. Make sure you place them somewhere where there's plenty of cover and they're not going to spawn and die instantly, because that's really annoying. I hate it on Countdown. You just spawn and fall over dead. But make sure you place them where there's a lot of cover, and they have time to kind of group up and strategize, because the zombies do actually have a little bit of a handicap. Since they have no shields, they can be killed instantly from long range with a pistol. So they do need to group up and strategize, and you need to keep that in mind whenever you're placing their spawns. Also, don't place your defenders spawns and your zombie spawns. Well, don't place all your defenders in one spot, and don't place all your zombies in one spot. I like to spread them out as I show you here. Just kind of keep them spread out. I like to stick to the same side of the map, but I don't like to put them all in one little area. It's really annoying. How long is this video? I think it's actually 20 minutes. Yeah, it's 20 minutes. Jeez. Oh, yeah. And whenever you're setting up infection, that's the most important part of the setup. Make sure you have game type specific to true and the game type label equals infection. Make sure you have that, otherwise it's going to screw up other maps. Now, in order to get infection to actually work, you have to have a safe haven on your map. In order to have a safe haven, you have to have a hill marker. So spawn a hill marker, and the label for a hill marker is INF_haven. So all you really have to do is set it to Gametype specific INF_haven, and then randomly place it somewhere. It doesn't matter. And your map will work for infection. Now, if you want safe havens to work, spread these out and set it up similar to kind of a King of the Hill style gameplay. Just keep in mind there's a lot of melee instead of long range. So that'll set up your map for a good safe havens game. But I really hate safe havens with a passion. So I don't even set up my maps for safe havens. I just set them up for infection. And in order to set them up for just normal infection, hill marker, game type label equals INF_haven. That's all you have to have. And just put it anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's not going to spawn in a normal infection game. It'll only spawn in a safe havens game. But if you do set it up for safe havens, then set it up in a King of the Hill style manner. Similar to territories, something like that. And that's going to set up your map for infection. So we're going to move on to Juggernaut. Juggernaut is a very simple game type to set up. It actually needs nothing to work. There's no required objects, but it's good to have your spawns customized. Otherwise, your game is just going to suck. So, go ahead and go to your initial spawn. Spawn one single blue initial spawn. This is going to be your Juggernaut. Juggernaut spawns on blue, and you only need one blue spawn. That's all you need to have. And he will spawn here every time. If you do have more, he won't spawn in that same spot every game. And I like it when the Juggernaut spawns in the same spot. Now, setting up your red spawns, you have two choices here. These are your people that are trying to kill the Juggernaut, defenders, if you will. You have two choices here. You can set them up clustered around the Juggernaut spawn, or you can set them up strewn across the map. Now, here I'm going to show you clustered around the Juggernaut spawn. They're not actually, that close to him, but they are in a fairly close proximity, and this is what it looks like. But I like to have them strewn out across the map. It just makes for better gameplay. It makes it a little bit more interesting than, just spawning in the same spot and rushing the Juggernaut every time. So, yeah. And this one, I actually don't set the label on this one. Remember to set your labels, guys. Always set your labels, otherwise it's really going to hurt your maps. Remember, game type specific equals true, game type label equals the game type that you're currently editing. In this case, it would be Juggernaut. Do that for all of the spawns that you set on there. Including your team-based respawn point, not just your initial spawns. And if you haven't followed Forge Tips Video 6, you need to go now. Do it. Do it if you want to leave. So that pretty much wraps up Forge Tips 7. It's almost a 20-minute video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry it wasn't the greatest thing I've ever done. I did rush it a little bit, but make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more tips a lot faster, I guess you could say. I'm not going to space them out as I have been because there's so many videos. There's probably, I don't even remember if I could bring up the list here. There's like 27 different videos that I have to make, and some of them are going to be Gametype setups, dedicated Gametype setups. It's going to be a whole, 15-minute segment on how to properly set up CTF, how to properly set up Assault. I'm also going to do invasions setups. Now, make sure you subscribe, comment, and like this video. If you haven't watched my October 1st channel update, I highly recommend you watch it. It's got some interesting stuff in there. And make sure you stay tuned for Advanced Forge Lesson 1. It's going to be a blast. So, comment, like, subscribe, add this video to your favorites. Cuss me out in the comments if you want to. This is Envoy Vive signing out, and I'm going to see you guys Starside.